Hello and welcome. This is NTA Tuesday Live, and I'm Cyril Stober. It's looking like there won't be an end to the ASU federal government face-off anytime soon. From latest indications, the deadlock has yet to be broken in talks to resolve the issues and reopen the universities. Now, last Tuesday, we examined the standpoints of both ASU and the federal government. Tonight, we revisit the matter of unending strikes in the nation's tertiary education system and the way forward. But first, let's refresh our memory of the demands of the university lecturers and the response of the government.
The university system is not new to industrial crisis since the formation of Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and other unions in the universities in 1978. Before then, Nigerian Association of University Teachers had existed since 1965. From 2013 till date, the union had embarked on a 6-month strike in 2013, while in 2014 and 17 it went on a warning strike but was apprehended by government. In the year 2020, however, ASU went on an indefinite strike which paralyzed academic activities for 8 months, even though the rule of no work, no pay as contained in Section 43 of Trade Union Act was in effect at the time. Salaries were later paid in trade trenches for not performing academic activities.
But I want to tell you, everything we had in terms of payment of EAA, End Academic Allowance, Revitalization Fund from in 2020 agreement, were religiously executed. That to the extent that aggregately 92 billion was paid in year 2021.
The bone of contention this time around is the 2009 agreements, which was renegotiated in 2020, but still having some gray areas yet to be fully addressed. The government in 2017 made it mandatory for all MDAs to migrate to Integrated Personal Payroll and Information System, IPPIS, but the universities complained it did not capture their peculiarities and requested to be allowed to be on University Transparency and Accountability Systems, UTAS. However, the platform, according to some players, did not pass the integrity test.
The university system say they don't capture sabbatical, they don't capture their peculiarities. So we now ask them, after President has spoken with us, let us look at UTAS because it's homegrown. Do the tests. Need that. If you satisfy the test, you can come and have a handshake with IPs. In the spirit of Executive Order 3 and 5, homegrown things should be encouraged. I'm a supporter of that and the SGF. So that's where we are. The first test, they wrote a report, leader wrote a report and said that on user acceptability tests, this is the percentage. Because it's the users that will come and say we can use this system. Boss has a university and everything. So this is where we are on that. They scored 90-something%. On integrity and on credibility tests, to avoid hacking. Neither say he failed. As to say no, we didn't fail. So as we were discussing that, ASU went on strike.
While the negotiation was ongoing to address the gray areas, according to government, ASU began a 1-month warning strike, which started on February 14, 2022, which has since snowballed beyond the initial 4 weeks. The non-teaching staff is not left out, as it also embarked on a 3-week warning strike, which might also extend beyond the given time, if not quickly made.
When we went to go on strike in November, direct interceded, and we gave them the opportunity. We call on well-meaning Nigerians and stakeholders in the university system and beyond to prevail on government to honor the agreement it freely entered into with the Joint Action Committee of NASU and SANU. The sharing of the end allowance should be based on templates generated from signed agreements of each union and not on the number of persons in each union or personnel costs, and that subsequent disbursement should be union-based.
To find lasting solution to the impasse, the Minister of Education, Adamu, constituted a 7-man committee to renegotiate in realistic and workable terms all issues in contention by ASU and other unions.
The committee, which is expected to review the draft proposed federal government ASU agreement, has the following terms of reference. 4 of them. Number 1, it is to liaise and consult with all relevant stakeholders in order to finalize the position of the federal government on the issues in the draft proposed negotiated agreement. Number 2, to renegotiate the realistic and workable terms the 2009 agreement with other university-based unions.
While this is ongoing, students in Nigerian universities are at the receiving end as the academic plan is on hold. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
All right, that's just the tone for tonight's discussion. Let me introduce our guest to you. Tonight, we'd like to welcome to this program Dr. Chris Ngige, the Honorable Minister of Labor and Employment. Minister, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Cyril. And thank you, viewers, for going to listen to us.
Right. Let me also welcome to this program Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, is President, Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Thanks for being here, Professor.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
And we'll be joined via Zoom from Lagos. Professor Kemi Rotimi is a historian. He's of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. He joins us via Zoom from Lagos. Professor Kemi Rotimi, it's good to see you. He joins us via Zoom from Lagos. All right. At some point, we'll ask you to adjust your camera and turn off your TV so that it will be much clearer. Okay. Thank you, Prof, for being with us. Right. So the issues are clear. We started this discussion last week, and here we are tonight, revisiting the issues. What's been called this unending strikes in tertiary education. There's hardly a year that goes by that you don't have ASU and the federal government arguing and coming to negotiations only for talks to break down. The universities are shut. And indeed, other unions within the university system join in. And so it's a total shutdown. Minister, why is this situation like this? Isn't there a way to end what's been termed as frequent, incessant strikes in education?
Well, thank you, sir. The situation is like this because education have not taken its rightful place the way it should be done in Nigeria as is done in other climes. First and foremost, I don't know the number of countries in the world where you have free university education. So everything boils down to resources. Resources to run the university, both the infrastructure and the human development. Part of running the university is the personnel costs and running costs, which you call recurrent expenditure. So, to me, we have to stop playing the ostrich and call a spade a spade. I'm one of those who advocate that university education should not be free. During my time, it wasn't free. We paid school fees. And those of us who were lucky to have good certificates or what is dubbed brilliant certificate. You are brilliant. You made Division 1 or Division 1 distinction. The federal government gave us scholarship. At a point, even the state governments were struggling for us to come onto their scholarship, or what they called at that time bursary. Those who couldn't afford it, there was a loan board. You can take a loan and pay. So I don't think Nigeria is richer than at that time. I don't think population of Nigeria is smaller than at that time. I don't think the number of universities are still as small as it was during that time. We have more universities, we have more proliferation and things like that. So it's a question of the resources not being enough. And everybody feeling just like Nigerians feel with petroleum products, that you cannot do appropriate pricing of petroleum products that is in their soil. Everybody in the university system feel the country is still rich. Oh, there is subsidy of trillion. Why can't we get billions this other way? And these are the things. And so if you go and even to the university and raise what is being paid today, some universities, public universities charge 45,000 for a session. Medical students in one of the institutions here were being charged, I think, 80,000. And there was an increase of 10,000 to make it 90,000. And they threatened the demonstrations. In fact, they demonstrated. And we are calling me. Yes, it happened. That I should, this vice chancellor, why they should increase their money by 12,000 or thereabouts. So that mentality is sunk. And so that we continue with this cycle.
So, Minister, what you're saying in essence is that there is no way that the federal government can adequately respond to the demands of the Academic Staff Union of Universities.
The government, especially this particular government, within the resources available to them, have been doing what they should do. Make no mistake about it. Anything coming from ASU, NASU, and SANU, and the rest of them all, to me, spill over from Ministry of Education, National Universities Commission, who are their direct employers. I am not the employer. I'm a conciliator. When discussions break down there, and they report to me, I take it over and listen to party A and listen to party B. I say, can you meet yourself this way? They say yes. We fashion out the agreement. For implementation by those agencies concerned, Education, NUC, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Budget and Planning, and any other extra ministerial department like Salary, Incomes and Wages Commission, who can be brought in to fix allowances. That the people who have the mandate. I don't have the mandate.
All right, Minister, we'll return to you in just a moment, but let's hear from the ASU president. And, it's basically the same question. We raised this last week. Why is this an unending face-off?
Thank you very much. You see, we need to tell Nigerians the truth and the way it is. It is not correct that schools were charging in the 70s and 80s when maybe we were in school. It's not correct. At that time, as a student, you have a subsidized hostel, you stay, everybody in hostel, subsidized. You have a subsidized meal, the food you eat is subsidized. All those things have been removed. As a student, I was getting bursary. I was being paid for being a student. All those things have been removed. But more critically, which is where we are, this is the worst. This present setup is the worst. Go and check our budgetary allocation to education. That is the story. In the Western region, they were giving 30% to education of their budget. 30%. Because they value education. And the results were very clear in the West as at that time. And Midwest then. Today, what was the last budgetary allocation to education? 5.4%. The lowest in the history of this country. That is the crisis. Our neighbor here, Ghana, they have problems like we are having. Union were on strike. Our government took a bold decision to solve those problems. Today, Nigeria is paying billions of naira to Ghana as school fees. Billions. Special hostel for Nigeria and Ghana. But we have not had that courage to take both steps to restore our education. I will give you an example. When I was a student in a state university, River State University of Science and Technology, in my department we have lecturers from 5 different countries. There's somebody from Sri Lanka, somebody from Poland, somebody from Sierra Leone, and somebody from Ethiopia, Argentina, and a Nigerian. 5 different in one department. Today you don't have any university today where you have up to 2 foreign lecturers teaching. Go to Ghana. There are thousands of Nigerians teaching in Ghana, in South Africa. Why? Because we destroyed the system. And they compounded it by introducing IPs. In my university, we had 2 women who were from Cameroon. IP stopped their salary for 18 months and they left. In which country in the world, and I want to challenge the government, in which country in the world is salary of lecturer paid from a department, from a ministry? Mention one university in the world, even the lowest in the republic, where salary of academic staff are paid from an office of accountant general. Name one country where a vice chancellor wants to recruit a professor of high standard from all over the world. You have to go and beg head of service to give you permission to employ. This is how we are gradually killing the system. What I say, so that we'll get it straight. You gave me a lot of time. You also give me a lot of time to also speak, because I'm speaking for Nigerian people. He's speaking for the government. So what am I saying? Is that any day the Nigerian government decide to take the decision of first line charge, with the exception of my minister here, or every other Nigerian political school holder, their children are abroad. But these same people are telling Nigerian universities, after destroying it, they move out. The reason we're on strike is this. If you watch, they have destroyed primary and secondary school. They don't matter again. The so-called private people are taking over. Where a student that cannot spell his or her name will get 9 credits in WAEC. Who cannot spell his or her name will get 9 credits. We have dashed them out. We will not allow the university to go to. Let's talk about school fees. So let's touch, because we started agreement with the government in 2017. This negotiation, 2017, we have patient. The government position was that every student should pay 1 million naira school fees. Like I said, we go and open education bank, and go and collect 1 million and pay our school fees. A student graduating owing about 6 million naira, how will he pay? We did our analysis and find in some country where they introduced it, those students were committing suicide. Yes, you can check, even in US. They were committing suicide. 2, it's not also true that country in German you don't pay school fees. German, one of the local, they don't pay school fees. In Sweden you don't pay school fees. So it's not correct that there's no country where students don't school fees. But here also the students are already paying excessively. They pay for accommodation in the town, not in the hostel, not in the university. For hostel in those days, they take up, they say they buy their books, they pay for their transportation. They're already paying heavily. And before, education is a right.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. We wonder if we can go off to Professor Rotimi, who is joining us via Zoom from Lagos. Prof, are you there with us? Right. Okay. Okay, Prof. Well, I guess you've listened to the Minister of Labor and Employment, and you've listened to ASU president. As an academic, what do you make of all this? The universities are shut. We're not producing the historians that we would like to produce, like you. So tell us, what are your impressions of what the current situation?
Mr. Stober, I hope you can hear me.
Go ahead.
Hello? Okay. Should I go on?
Just put up your TV because it's interfering with all what's going on. Just turn off your TV, right, as you're speaking.
Yes. Zero is off.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sure. Go ahead now.
I don't know. On mute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll try to return to you in a short while you fix that glitch. We'll return to you, but let's come back here to the studio. And now, I'd like to go back to you, ASU President, and one of the issues at stake is about this payment platform. ASU completely rejects the IPPIS. But again, it's been said that the UTAS, which you're in favor of, it's felt that it's not foolproof and that it has failed certain integrity tests. What is your response? I know that last week your vice president was here, and he said that UTAS actually passed the integrity test. But okay, go ahead.
Thank you. But you see, it's still the same problem. The IPPIS, what is IPPIS? The World Bank sat on their own without consulting Nigeria, bought this IPPIS in 2006 and dashed to federal government and calculate the money and call it loan. It was never tested when it came here. Yeah, 2060 today is how many years? They have never been tested. And the good thing is that, you see, we have been vindicated. The Auditor General of the Federation released 2009 report on IPPIS. I have told the Honorable Minister, go and get the copy and read it. We have asked Nigeria to publish that copy, National Assembly. It tells you that IPPIS is nothing. It's a fraud. We have produced this. You see, it's a struggle between ASU, they look at us, and government. Neither is a government agency. Ordinarily, it should be an independent body that should have tested.
NIDA says there is a challenge with UTAS. And
Wait. I have given this is their report, all of them. Then they came out with a report, which we looked at it, it was just a child's play. I would say this your report is not correct. I'll give you an example. They came into the report and they found the college, and they said that report is faulty, that it should have been faculty. But in Nigeria, a university can run a college system, it can run a faculty. So he created this program, it done in such a way that it can accommodate whether it is college, it's a faculty, or this thing. But they say it's faulty. And the Honorable Minister of Labor and Employment, when we met during reconciliation, said, let's go back and test again. This time, let ASU and the government team be there in the process so that we can tell them that they are going wrong. And then let there be observers. Minister of Labor, Minister of Education, and we all went for that meeting. I was supposed to report back to the minister when we are through. Then we finish the process. I will give it to you. Nigeria should say, this is their report. Emanating from this one that they have done, where each of them signed. If you look at this report, I will give you a story. I have known you for a very long time. When you look at the total, then what did the program score?
Well, just go ahead.
Look at it. The program scored 99.3% after testing. We were supposed to meet the next Monday to put a final report and send a report to the Minister of Labor. All of us will go and submit the report because it's a teamwork. But on Saturday before that day, neither went on air to say it failed. Why would you submit a report to the person who set up the report to see whether it failed so that we can get a proper report? Why do you have to rush on air to announce that it has failed? When you are not finished the process, you are not ready to final report. You show that, let me finish, sir. You show that something is on. Look at it, it's very clear. And we publish to Nigeria to know, to see. This is their report, sign. And that is the final one that we're supposed to finish and sign. On what basis did they say the program failed? Were they able to hack into IPs? This UTAS. On what basis? You see, let me tell you, there are people, forces who do not want, who will want Nigeria to continue using IPs, even will complain all over.
Okay,
so until Nigeria, we have asked them, what we told the Minister of Labor is here,
Okay,
that we will produce a system, sir.
Well,
Let me finish. That will produce a system that is better than IPs.
Okay.
That's what we told them.
All right.
But in testing, if you want to go whether it's better or not, you should have tested IPs and tested the UTA to see the one that is better. You say you will not test IPs, but you must test UTAS.
Well, Cyril,
Minister, I see you have made in your notes about
you have
the
moved
question of
my
UTAS.
conciliation table into NTA. Maybe you should have gotten other government agencies to answer him, because I'm a conciliator.
Yes.
I keep him and I keep them.
Right.
And they talk and agree on what is to be done. Let me correct some of the impressions he gives, which are not totally correct. I was in university at the time, which you now say when you were in River State, whatever. I entered university 73.
Yes.
And I left 79.
Yes.
I sponsored my junior brothers in university. They entered 80. Came out 86. So one of them went to law school, the one who is senior advocate of Nigeria now. I sponsored the girl. So the university system is clear to me. I passed through it. If I went to a polytechnic, then you can be talking like this. So I'm a beneficiary of the system. At the time we are talking now, the dollar, American dollar, was $1 to 78 kobo. $1, 78 kobo.
Yes.
I traveled abroad that time. And all I needed to travel abroad was my little savings and go to my bank, and I have plenty of dollars. I will go with about $7,000 for just about, if I bring 1,000 naira. So, the foreign teachers you're talking about were ready to come here.
Yes.
Whatever naira you paid them at that time, they convert it
Yes.
to send home, mostly Indians, Ceylonese, Bangladesh, Pakistanis. Some of them taught me. They taught me biochemistry, they taught me physiology, they taught me anatomy.
Yes. Why are they not here anatomy?
Because the economy cannot take them. The economy of Nigeria cannot.
But the one of Ghana can.
Just no, listen, you were talking, we didn't talk.
Okay.
Because you are trying to say that we should reenact the 70s and the 80s here back. It's not possible. You can eat your cake and still have it in your hand. Our economy has not been diversified. An oil-based economy. The attempt to even diversify it, the structural adjustments failed. It failed. Is it this government that introduced SAP? No. It's the military. Is it this government that sold oil in Nigeria for $120 a barrel, for 2.4 million barrels of pay quota, and they didn't conserve the money, and they didn't save anything? No, it's not this government. So, nobody is saying that ASU is not patriotic. Are you with me? They made proposals at one time when things were difficult, and that was how Tet Fund was born. Tet Fund is a revitalization agency for the university, for the tertiary system. Everybody is enjoying a Tet Fund. But you cannot now be telling me that because of this government, Ceylonese have gone, Bangladesh people have gone. No, it's not correct. You can't be saying so. It's wrong for you. It's the state. For the man in the street. The economy is gone bad. And it's not this particular government. This transcends this government. Transcends even Jonathan government. Through the days of the military. So, the days of the locusts in Nigeria started then. And that was the day you started having shortfall in funding. You said you must do 25% funding. Health says they must get 15%. Abuja Declaration. Water and sanitation say they must get 20%. Defense says they will get 40%. Internal security says that for them to even function near 30%. When you calculate all the percentages being talked about by everybody, health, water, defense, education, you are talking about 250%. Not even 100%, which a national budget is supposed to be based on. So it's good we correct this impression. That fund is part of funding of education. UBEC, Universal Basic Education Fund, is part of funding of education. You must aggregate all before you get a percentage. It's just like the person who is talking about health. You talk about health, you don't put water and sanitation. So wrong calculation. Water and sanitation is part of health system for health of the citizen of the country. If you don't drink good water, you have waterborne diseases. If you don't do sanitation in your place, same waterborne diseases and other disease conditions. So all I'm trying to say is that, you see, if he does not agree that this government have tried its best, then I don't know what else he can say. I am the first person to start conciliation by myself. Prior to that, they are sent to the villa, National Assembly. And then they will go there and get agreements that are unimplementable. There is no agreement I have done with the two parties that I do not push the government side to go and implement. The only thing they can tell you is that, oh, they said they will pay us in October. They didn't bring that money in October. They brought it in December or they brought it in January. That's the only thing they can say. Not that I am conciliating or I have given them an agreement. Go and show your people that this is what we have agreed on. And bring it back. Let's put pen and paper to it, signature, and it's not done. No. Of all the things they listed since I came, it be reduced. Even the ones that add them, like this UTAS is a new addition. It's a new addition. Platform for payment. He knows. They have industrial relation teachers who are also professors. There is nowhere that is allowed in labor parlance for an employee, a worker, to dictate to his employer how he or she should be paid. The important thing is for your salary, wages, remuneration, emolument to be paid to you as and when due. I can decide to pay you cash as an employer. I can decide to pay you check as an employer. I can decide to do your electronic transfer as your employer. So what he's saying now, I'm not holding brief for eyepiece. After all, I was one of those who supported that UTAS should be looked into, I and the SGF, because this president have done Executive Order 3 and Executive Order 5 for local content preservation, both in terms of personnel and in terms of material or discovery. So they should know that person of that UTAS by government is a privilege, not a right. It's not a right. It is a privilege. And a privilege and a right is a difference. So the labor teachers who have copies of Trade Union Act, Trade Disputes Act, they know. And they also know that in that law, once there's an apprehension of a strike, and you are conciliating it, agreeing on A, B, disagreeing on that, you should revert to status quo ante. You come out from your strike. But they refuse to do that. They refused. Therefore, the lower unions or the other unions, non-academic staff unions, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, National Association of Technologists, all said, oh, ASU is on strike and nobody is doing anything to them. We also have our grazis. We give you warning strike too. Our head ASU gave you 1 month warning strike. We are giving you 2 weeks warning strike. And when ASU, after 1 month warning strike, we are still conciliating and setting up committees and agreeing to give them 6 weeks to go and work and come back to us. Instead of calling off the strike, they say, oh, we have now gone on 2 months strike. Full strike this time. Then NASU, SANU, NAT said, okay, they have gone on 2 months strike. There is no need for opening the classrooms or the laboratories. We also have gone on 1 month full strike. How can we run a system like that? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I went to school. I went to university. I was taught by lecturers. I have also taught people. Yes, I taught people in ASCON. Civil servants, I went to teach them. From Federal Ministry of Health as an adult lecturer. You cannot, you can't make progress that way. More so when this government have bent backwards and be doing everything possible. Let me make one point before. There is no way as conciliator or even Mr. President can go and order NIDA and say, deploy this system. With the report I have, which I forwarded to them, because I'm their postmaster. They post to me, I post to NIDA through communication. They bring back to me, I post to them. Even today, I signed another letter that's going to NIDA. That's my stake and my what I found myself in. So I have to be their messenger. I don't care. But my point is that the right thing should be done. We should not abuse privileges. It is not their right to dictate a payment system. You know what? NASU, SANU said they will not go on UTAS, even if it's brought for university system. Are you aware? They say they have now developed their own system for their own payment, these other unions. So it will now be tomorrow. NMA and National Association of Resident Doctors will land and say, yes, we now have a new system developed by our friends for us for payment in the system. I don't like all this. It's distractive. We're giving them honor and said, we're interested in this thing. We're interested. It will help research. It will help even bring you up before the world. Maybe the man who finishes giving us UTAS, by the time we look at it and he passes every test, some countries can say, give us something. But if NIDA has said vulnerability test against hacking is not passed, and they have also said it in council that this involves money, that if somebody hacks into this platform and add 3 zeros on 10 million, it becomes 1 billion. And the fraud is committed for 1 billion instead of 10 million. If it is 1 billion and they add 2 zeros, 1 billion will now become 100 billion. That's the point they made. And for me, as a conciliator, I had to take a back seat and run. I'm not a computer specialist. He's not. He's relying on what somebody else has written.
No, I was there, not true.
Are you a computer?
No, we have from there. You see?
All right, at this point in time, we also have a number of reports. We'll take the first report we have here. This one is from Enugu.
Incessant strike actions of university lecturers now seems to be a norm and the last resort through which they press home their demands from governments. The Academic Staff Union of Universities embarked on 1 month burning strike on 14th of February this year to demand for better condition of service that agreed with federal government in 2009. As a result, series of meetings the leadership of the union held with federal government to that effect ended in deadlock, and ASU extended the strike by 2 months, thereby putting academic activities on hold. The protracted strike actions has automatically distorted academic calendar.
The brain needs to keep on working. It's not like if you shut down the computer, you can always put it on at any time. You get, but then if you relax, in practice makes perfect. So once you relax, you are left redundant at that moment. So the impact is really much.
Okay, me personally, it has affected me in a whole lot of ways because I've been in 100 level since 2019 and I just entered 200 level. We are still taking our exams. We are still happy we've entered 200 level, taking our exams. They called the strike. And after the strike, we are moving into the exams immediately without anything being taught. Nothing was actually taught before the strike.
About 2 million young people released into the community. And then these 2 million, uncontrolled energies, so you have rape, you have armed robbery, because these are young people who work with their peers, and there's a lot of peer group influence. Most of these young people sometimes begin to have access to particularly their mother's vehicles, and the driver not with proper training, and then you begin to have auto accidents, you begin to have unwanted deaths and unwanted expenditure.
Experts say poses a threat to the society and national life, as they cannot contribute meaningfully to the growth of the nation's economy.
The government must regard education as a top priority. Educational staff should not see strike as the first course of reaction against government reneging on their promises.
It is the views of many that education be prioritized in Nigeria in line with the international best practices. In Enugu, Ikeria Ugwu.
All right, from Enugu, we take this other report coming in from Asaba.
Before we came back, we were in the middle of writing tests. Now, because of the whole strike, we're at home now. We don't have the due to read again because I have a cousin that's about to write jam. She doesn't see the need to write jam because the school is not in section, so she cannot. There's no need writing the jam because obviously she's sitting down at home. And our mates that are in private school, like my classmates now, we graduated from secondary school together. They're already done, and I'm seeing. I just recently entered 300 level when I was supposed to be in 400 level because of the strike.
Stella Agari's worries sum up the challenges many university students are facing in Nigeria due to protracted ASU strike since 2009. ASU has so far embarked on strike actions on 8 different occasions. Early this year, ASU embarked on 100 days warning strike over agreement it reached with the union in 2009. Some of the demands include funding for revitalization of tertiary institutions, payment of outstanding end allowances, renegotiation of 2009 agreement, and implementation of university transparency and accountability solution, amongst others. Just like the saying goes, when 2 elephants fight, the grass suffers, and the deadlock is really taking toll on parents and the society at large.
A child that goes into school that expected to come out in 4 years' time, you see him or her graduating in 6 years' time. It's really unfair, and the parents are really not happy about that. There's no money, and making them to pay extra. I mean, they're not finding it funny.
Immediate consequence is that the children are at home, and being at home, they are exposed to danger. So many of them may be involved in this Yahoo business, courtesan, robbery, and that in turn affects the social standards of the community.
It is almost more than 2 months into the current strike by ASU. Is there any compromise in sight?
When you have an agreement, that agreement should stand. If federal government has an agreement with ASUs and they all appended their signatures, I do not see reasons why the federal government should renege. But that does not mean that ASU should not understand somehow. To me, if ASU is looking for, let me say, 10 naira, and the federal government had agreed they were going to pay them 10 naira, and after the period of agreement, it was not done, well, there could be a kind of renegotiation. Fine. Why not give them 75% of what they're looking for? And I'm sure ASU will agree.
I'm tired. I'm tired of this whole strike. I want to go back to school.
The academic future of millions of Nigerian students like Stella Agara could be in serious jeopardy unless urgent steps are taken by the parties involved to save the nation's ivory tower from total collapse. I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
Professor Sodeke, it's been said by many Nigerians and people who are interested in brokering a resolution to this crisis that why not reopen the institutions while you continue your renegotiation? And what is on the interim? Instead of shutting down and refusing to shift grounds, what's wrong with negotiating while academic activities are on?
Thank you very much. You see, in other climes, where people take education and labor issue seriously, you don't allow strike to go for 2 days or 1 week. They intercede immediately. But we have been on strike now for 10 months. We never, for the past 8 months, we've not met with any government agency. No, the past.
Is Ministry of Labour not Ministry of Agency?
Since we are on this strike, this one will roll over these 8 weeks. We've not met with anybody.
No. National University Commission is your agency.
Just wait, sir. Wait. We have not met.
Don't be saying it because you disseminate.
You are the conciliator.
No.
You are the one.
NUC were there. They have answered you.
Wait. Labor.
When you say it, Nigeria will take it to plan and say can go.
Let's get it straight. In the process of renegotiation, it leaves your unit and move to the next level, which is the Minister of Labour. Handling the issue. We cannot leave that minister when he has not finished and go back to our own. It's not done that way. I'll give you an example. In 2013, we had similar crisis. We met with the Minister of Labour, something I can't remember the full name, was the Minister of Labour. And he found out that he was not having, first we met with the Minister of Education, Nelson Wike. It was difficult for him. Minister of Labour took over. He found out he was not working. The Secretary of Federal Government, Pius Ayim, took over and took the issue for a long time. He didn't work. The Vice President then, Namadi Sambo, took over the process. And it didn't work. The President called a meeting, Goodluck Jonathan. And we sat at that meeting and said, none of us will leave this room today until we have finished the issues. You remember that time, that 14-hour meeting. Now, until we finish this issue and agree on this thing, nobody is leaving the room. And that's why we stay with him for 14 hours and we resolve the issues.
You stay with Jonathan?
Yes, 14 hours.
No, you can't stay with Jonathan.
I said, Jonathan, we stay. You are aware.
I was wait. In Nigeria, I'm not a
2013, the 14 hours meeting with Goodluck Jonathan and all the ministers, Ngozi Iweala, all of them were there, and we had a meeting for 14 hours. And that is where the agreement is there, signed by one Biala on behalf of government. So, and we had an agreement. It was escalated up. You don't escalate up and come down. So what I'm saying, let me finish. So that is it. So if we are on strike now for 10 months, 10 weeks, and no meaningful something happening.
Excuse me.
If we don't, no, let me finish. When you were talking, we allow you, sir.
Yes,
they will give you your time to talk.
Yes.
So how will you think if we go back? Nothing. They will not. The one that we are going to look at that strike is a problem. Or not, the strike is a symptom of a problem. But I need to talk about an issue which is very clear. You see, ASU didn't say we are producing payment for us system. What we agree, so it's very clear, sir. What we are agreeing a system. It is shameful, very shameful that a country like Nigeria with so many brilliant people all over the world, we go to World Bank to go and buy a payment. Where, sir? If this Nigeria is watching, yes. Go buy a payment. So when you was you didn't stop me. Because you want me not to stop talking.
No. I want you to talk. But the aspect that I brought out first, and that's where I want to take you.
But we need to correct one, sir.
Yes, you will do that. But the aspect I had wanted you to start with is what's wrong with reopening the universities, going back to work while negotiations go on.
What is wrong in just sitting down in one day, sitting down in 1 or 2 days, and resolve all these issues and school become open and no issues? That's the way the world goes. The British were on strike. It didn't start 2 days. In Ghana, they were on strike recently. And that's how students are going to Ghana. But let's talk about these youths. You see, if you are an independent conciliator, and a report comes, you should ask questions. You should ask questions. A report came and scored 90, you see it there, 99.3%. So let me finish. 99.3%. And somebody came and said, we could. They should show evidence of hacking into it. When you look at the report, sir, when you look at this report, all the issues are here. They are here, the graphics. They should have shown the Federal Executive Council evidence that there was a hack. But they were able to hack into it. You should ask the question. We are giving evidence of what they did, 99.3. We are saying the conciliator have asked. Yes, if it's not wrong, let's see the evidence. So, but they didn't ask. They believed.
Okay.
Two, sir.
Yes.
We should speak scientifically on this issue. What we are developing is not for us. It's for government. All over the world, during COVID, what the serious country did was to bring their universities and say, develop it for all this, the money, go and develop. Don't say develop this drug we are using today, all this vaccine. But in Nigeria, they will not, they run abroad.
Okay. Now,
But we are told that we can do it and do it better than any of that one. They should test UTAS and test like this and see the one that
you
will
have
work.
raised, which I'd also like the minister to comment on. It's been said here that no negotiation, no meeting has taken place in the last.
That's unfair.
Last 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Yes,
Minister,
that's unfair.
How?
Very, very unfair.
Let me know. What was this?
You came to a meeting in my place.
When?
On 22nd of February.
So, when are we?
Excuse me. You started your strike on 14th of February.
Huh?
You came to another meeting in my place on the 1st of March, where we now agreed on this 6 weeks timeline for the two contentious issues. What are the issues? The first contentious issue is the 2009 agreement renegotiation. When they say agreement renegotiation, people don't even understand what it means. What is the content? The content is condition of service. That's the major thing there. Increase in salary for university teachers and university professionals and whatever that are in the university system. I made it clear to them that I'm a product of the university. I can never be against that people want an increase to take you home. Your present salary, from what I have seen, the pay slip you have shown me here, is not right.
Thank you.
But you also remember that there are other people in the system. It's not only you. So get back to education. Manzali committee finished and brought a draft. That draft, how much percentage increase in your emolument was there? I think about 200 and something % increase. Of course, the observers in the meeting, what they call advisors, he knows. Salaries, incomes, and wages, budget office of the federation, finance ministry, the people who bring the money and who know what we have and what we don't have and what we earn every month, head of service, and of course, the people having the watching brief, Ministry of Labor, because we have a labor desk in education. These four bodies, salaries, incomes, and wages, budget office of the federation, finance, head of service, told them at that Manzali committee, which is an in-house education committee, for renegotiation, based on the push we have been doing for this thing to be done, they told them that these increases will not fly. Some of the allowances increased, and the percentage of increase runs contrary to our template in salaries and incomes and wages. And so there's no way government will accept them. The highest we do in these areas are this percentage. In B, this percentage. In actual salary, this, because this has to go back to Presidential Committee on Salaries, because there's a freeze on increase of salary, but we can get an exemption. They refused. I said that it is that thing they wrote there that will be put as a proposal, because it's still a proposal. And when they said that, Manzali and the other members capitulated and sent it to education. Unfortunately, Minister of Education was away in Germany, had some medical issues and on and off hospital. The staff in education, the officials in education, for some reasons best known to them and these other workers of theirs, nobody pushed up the thing. So when the minister came back and they looked at it, minister and his officials now said, this is not workable. And they reached out to them.
You have the letter?
Wait, and I'm coming. And said, we want to reconstitute this committee because Manzali has finished. A lot of the people who participated in this have also gone. Some pro-chancellors, their tenure has finished. So we are bringing in new people. We are bringing Benoni Briefing and the new chairman of Council of Pro-Chancellors and some other people who are pro-chancellors in some other universities. And I saw them last week. And the minister inaugurated them. I saw the inauguration here. And said he's giving them 3 months to do that. I said, no. our conciliation report, which ASU accepted, was for them to do everything in 6 weeks. The other contentious issue is, what do you call it, UTAS and NIDA. Before they, they did even their strike, I said, Professor, informally, before the meeting, I think that the best thing to do is now that you and these people have discordant tones as per this result, let us do a joint team. And if you do a joint team, we can get even observers, neutral observers, to make sure that nobody cheats you. Because you have said that the tests were conducted in your absence, at your back, that your hair was shaved at your back, that neither brought out whatever they wanted. I said, no, let's do joint. We had that discussion for joint. And then I was on my way to a meeting, AU meeting in Gaborone. They went on strike. I was at the airport. 14 February, I didn't believe it. Governors Day. So you can now see where we are. Because at the end of the day, we now came back to this joint technical team. And that's what they are doing. And that's what is reporting, that NIDA have behaved in bad faith, that they went and did a press conference. They gave me the report. I said it to them. And they replied.
No, we're talking about the new one, not the old one.
Wait now. I'm telling you that the new one that you're saying that have been done, they have given me a report there. You haven't gotten their reports? There are no reports?
No.
You sure you're not going
to get it? We have it.
Because I forwarded it to you.
We have it from the because we were together.
What I'm saying, I'm not a computer expert. I've said so before. I'm not. What I'm not, I don't know how to drive a aeroplane.
But you believe what they said against this report that they sent?
Excuse me. You know, law is 99% common sense. Empirical things in science, you also apply common sense. You have said here that this your report is 99.3. 99.3.
Yes.
And they are saying that even if it is 99.99, that they still a lacuna, a loophole for hacking.
Sir, there is no software.
I'm not a computer scientist.
There is no software program will score 99.9. You say it has to.
They didn't even score your integrity test 99.3. No, they didn't.
What did they score it?
From what I have. Okay. You don't have the results?
They didn't give us.
No, they did.
They said to me, we'll take a short break. When we return, there'll be more on resolving the issues and perhaps a way out, restarting university education. And hopefully we'll be able to get Professor Rotimi back online. We'll have taken care of those issues. So let's take this short break. We'll be back.
I am more than just an idea. I am alive, connected. I am part of an ecosystem, creating connections within an interactive and sustainable city. I am intentional about excellence, integrity, and efficiency. I am invested in building a sustainable future. I am committed to strategic partnerships and collaborations. I can be tough. And I can be tender. I take pride in delivering high standards. While there may be others, I am in a league of my own. I am more than just an idea. I am Bilal. Who are you?
157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructures in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportations. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause.
NTA Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show.
Thanks for staying with us. And this segment is where the phone lines are open and you can get to be part of the discussion in the studio. The numbers will be on your screens. We advise you take advantage of them. However, we always say this every week. If you do call in and your call gets through to the studio, do us a favor, turn down the volume of your TV set to avoid the hurlback or the echo. And we also encourage you to go straight to the point. We encourage you not to spend time on greetings. Just a mere hello would do. And keep those comments and questions as brief as possible so others can also get on the platform and contribute to the discussion of the issues. And whatever issues you raise, our guests are here. They'll respond to them appropriately. We'll start off now with another of our reports, this time from Kaduna.
As universities across the country are under lock and key, the situation has put sizable percentage of students in jeopardy. Among them is Abdul Hamid Saliu Umar, a final year medical student of Kaduna State University. The ongoing strike has slowed down his vision of completing studies on schedule to serve his country.
My plea here is, as we should make a better consideration, federal government should make the best of all consideration, which I made mention earlier, which is the political will. And then they should find a reconciliation point where they will all come back, negotiate, and call off the strike for us to proceed with our academic careers and training.
The industrial action embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities has been on for some time now. While some students have been at home idle, others have taken the bull by the horn by engaging in entrepreneurship. Farouk Mohamed Lawal is a political science student of Kaduna State University and has resorted to vocational skills acquisition instead of idleness. He said hope is not lost as federal government and ASU will reach an amicable resolution of their differences.
You have something doing, you can be self-reliant. Even if you have finished secondary school and university, you can continue doing your handwork as a job. You will not relax until government give you a job. You can start your any entrepreneurship or any small business. By God's grace, it will help you to create some awareness, like job awareness. As you can see, as my colleagues are here, we are just here working on some issues here.
Stakeholders say resolving the impasse is key to reassuring Nigerians of government commitment to the education sector.
It's when you fund education, it's when you have quality education that can develop this country. In fact, it is generally accepted that human capital development is the sure development that everybody wants in the world.
We could make a law that all public and civil servants who should have their children in the public institutions. I think that would avert that.
When you have students, or let me say children of school age, and yet they cannot go to school, definitely this time is going to suffer. And you know this serious security implication for that.
For now, prayers among parents and students is that bringing the strike to an end remain critical to university system in the country. Dauda Mohammed.
Next is this report that is coming from Ado-Ekiti.
It is no longer news that the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has embarked on industrial actions for several weeks now and have pledged to continue until government meet their demands. This is taking its toll on university education across the country and Ekiti State inclusive, which some stakeholders believe it is not in the interest of young Nigerians who desire quality education. Lack of interest in the educational system, increase in immorality and crimes are some of the issues raised by respondents as some precarious effects of the recurring ASU strike, like the popular saying, an idle hand is the devil's workshop.
A continuation of this strike by the ASU is
not a thing that will be augur well for this developmental and educational development of this country.
It has an adverse effect on the educational system of the children and even the country at large. It is now becoming part of the system of education in Nigeria that ASUU strike is part of must occur one time or the other. During our time, it wasn't like this. It would take a long time before the government and the ASUU come to a round table and settle the issue.
Those who believe that the effects of ASUU strike have been devastating on the Nigerian university system by watering down the quality of education offered to students, as some of them do perform poorly in examinations upon resumption from prolonged strike, aside extending the period a student ought to spend in school and the attendant cost implication.
The lecturer on their own side as well, they should put human face into all this bad wagon effect. Some people they are experiencing it, and beside that, the rate at which the students supposed to finish from the school is reducing. At least instead of you to spend 3-4 years for a course, you end up spending 8 years. And at the end of the day, when you come out to seek employment, your age must have far above the age slated for employment in this country.
There are a lot of problems that this crisis has caused within, and even though the parents again, there's no money. You have children at home who will be eating.
Although some of the germane demands of the university lecturers bordering on recurring issue of underfunding of the education sector, which has an impact on the quality of infrastructure, instructional materials and research, it is the consensus of respondents that the Academic Staff Union of Universities should explore other viable means of protest than strike due to the enormous damage it does to the education system. In Ado-Ekiti, Kola Adebabuyi.
All right, at this point in time, let's try to reconnect with Professor Kemi Rotimi, who joins us via Zoom from Lagos. Professor Rotimi, hopefully the links are a lot better now and you can hear us clearly. We have not been able to get your input into all of this, but I'm sure that you've been following the discussion so far. Let's hear you at this point.
Mr. Toba, I've followed as best I can. I have said, and I repeat, this old thing about incessant strikes is boring and annoying, and there is lack of honesty on the part of both parties, the ASUU and the federal government. Look, with the best will in the world, the federal government cannot implement the 2009 agreement as desired by ASUU. How that agreement got to be signed, only ASUU and the government that signed it can tell. Minister Ngige has been struggling tonight, laboring really hard to show that there are too many interests that government must cater to. That is a basic fact. And let's be clear about it. For those of us who agree with Ngige that no employee can dictate to the employer how he should be paid, my friend, is my pay correct and complete? And is it paid on time and in full? I think that is more important than how I am paid. How can an employee tell the employer how he should be paid? This UTASI peace thing, this UTASI thing is distracting. Let's get it right. I think we should be more interested in the quantum of pay. As I said on another platform, my pay is 407,000 naira, or over between 407 and 420. I've been teaching in Ife for 40 years. I think I should be more interested in the fact that my take-home pay cannot take me home, rather than which platform. EPs, EBs, UTAS, UGs, what nonsense. It doesn't matter to some of us, actually to many of us. Those who don't have the courage to speak up, that's their headache. I mean, some of us are leaving the system in what we can call prematurely, just tired. The leadership of the ASUU behaves like the National Assembly membership. They come in and then they want to review the Nigerian Constitution 1001 clauses. Every time you go for negotiation, we have this litany of demands. Look, my friend, Can you prioritize? The ASU president tonight was still talking again about Sri Lankans, Jamaicans, Ethiopians teaching in Nigeria. What's the big deal? If they no longer come, does that affect the quality of instruction given by Nigerians who are now manning the system? We are teachers, we are university teachers. The federal government breathes universities into existence. We are not even fighting them over that. Yet, I mean, now, as I said the other day, the new fad is to start universities of medicine. As if teachers of medicine or any discipline at all are plucked on top of a tree. And then what do? They start the university in your village and then you quarrel over which plot of land or which side of the town the university will be located in. Then you get the vice chancellor. Between him and the contractor, they are interested in the mobilization fee or the initial money. We should be more interested in why should federal government continue to create universities when you cannot fund the ones that you are properly. It is not as if ASU is not talking about it, but we can be more strident. And if that is what we're even quarreling with or going on strike for, maybe people will respect us more. Then how does a human being go on strike for 3 months, warning strike? How many months will it take you to be on strike? A session is 9 months. For those of us, I'm basically an anti-strike person. It does not amuse me. So I'm making it clear. I'm not amused by ending incessant, prolonged strikes. And what have we got over the years from the strikes anyway? Then this whole thing about every time you come, the leadership of ASU will go gain over this 1,001 demands. That 2009 agreement cannot be implemented by the federal government. There are other things for government to worry about. And then you can't go on creating universities and you expect that the funding will go around over what? The newer universities also have to be taken care of. Jonathan created how many in one day or 2 days? Then now, as I've said, universities of medicine. I'm aware that the universities of Agric are just struggling now to really refocus. Universities of Agric, they were teaching language and whatever the other day. A friend of mine was chairman of one of them. They've been meeting to see how you can refocus and give the Universities of Agric proper focus. Look, we missed the boat. Both parties have issues with themselves. And then the arguments are boring. Boring. Sri Lanka, Ethiopia, and Jamaica, so what? The Nigerians who teach there, are they not teaching well? I was an undergraduate 76 to 80 years. So if anybody is talking about the university system, I'm also competent to talk about the university system. We went on, Limos Gotti was not just over a change from 50 kobo to 150 or thereabout then. But times have changed. We must live within, we must be realistic even when we struggle. But nobody can go on warning strike for 3 months. Anybody should be able to appreciate now how the non-academics are making a mess of the whole thing. What is the issue? ASU went on strike. The non-academics waited. They decided to go on strike again. When ASU prolonged this warning strike for 3 months, how do you defend that anywhere? Warning strike for 3 months? And now we got into this period when other issues in the polity, nomination of parties, there are other issues that Nigerians are interested in and excited by than the fact that universities are not functioning. I have said and I repeat, the monopoly that public universities had on the production of manpower for the economy has long been diluted the moment private universities are given license, and they are still licensing the private universities. So let us also be realistic. When we make it look like once we shut down the public schools, then life will come to a halt. Life will never come to a halt. The private universities are functioning, and teachers in the public universities are the ones servicing the private universities, using the public universities as postal address. These are facts that if people don't want to come up with, some of us will say it as it is. What's the joke? You can't go on warning strike for 3 months. Professor Shedeke, go back to the council and let them know that there are some of your members who are not comfortable. In 2020, Nigeria was locked down like many other countries. ASU claimed to be on strike when the whole country or the whole world was locked down. And then people were alleging that ASU was on strike for 9 months in 2020. ASU was not on strike for 20 months. The country was locked down. But for a leadership like that of ASU, how can anybody claim to be on strike when the country was locked down? So these things are boring. Let us be realistic. Let's be frank. The government does not have the faith, cannot keep faith with the citizenry and the university teachers over this issue of funding. There are too many interests to satisfy. One, two, a government that goes on giving licenses to universities to create new universities has already told you, I cannot oblige you. If the government were to oblige, why would we be creating universities of medicine? Dr. Ngige is a medical doctor, everybody knows, and our children now who have qualified as doctors. The universities of medicine, you make it look like PHC, primary health care centers, that people can just go to. Look, the ASU leadership must sit down and properly assess what it should do. I referred earlier to the National Assembly membership. Every round they come in, constitution review, the Deputy Senate President is permanent chairman, and then you want to review 1,001 clauses. I have taught American history to my students over the years. Go and check any of the amendments. Issues were thrown up, were debated, and then you end up with an amendment. In the Nigerian context, 1,001 clauses in one go. That's why we really don't even know how many of the clauses have been properly amended. Wait for it. When the next group comes into the National Assembly, they are going to do that thing again, just like the ASU leadership. One leadership will go, another one will come. 2009 agreement, the thing becomes a broken for record. Let us separate the issues. This UTAS thing is neither here nor there. I'm not government, but no employee can dictate to the employer how it should be paid.
Prof, you've spoken quite a lot, but somehow many Nigerians are out looking for a way to resolve all of this. And it's not, well, ASU, last week it was clear, ASU itself says the strike is not in their own interest. It's not something they would want to do. Parents are not amused by it. The students are losing a lot. So how do we get to a middle path and resolve this? The start of academic activities again. How can this all be resolved?
The middle part we both know, that is teachers and government. There must be a genuine debate about who pays for tertiary education and what should the quantum of payment be. The ASU has been the major stumbling block in this matter. The government is telling a lie. They're talking about free tuition. Which is free tuition? No, there's no free tuition. But let us also be man enough to say, look, let's sit down and talk about who would pay for tertiary education. What should the quantum be? It doesn't mean that the mechanic's son or the panabita's son will not go to school, but let us be realistic. This funding thing can only be resolved when people consume the education that we provide, pay for what they consume. And the irony is that we are university teachers. A good number of us have also trained our children in private universities, either in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. But when we talk about funding, who pays for tertiary education, so we go up in arms. The children of the masses, where are these masses? If the government will not put the money down, let us discuss. But we can drive the process as teachers to help the quote and unquote masses, the so-called masses, so that the burden is not too much. But to say no, like the leadership does now, is not realistic. The federal government, either this one or the succeeding one, will not implement the 2009 agreement in total. If it were to be so, it should have been implemented since. 2009 agreement was signed by the Yar'Adua government. You have had, after Yar'Adua, you have had Jonathan, 6 years. You have had Buhari now, 7 going on 8. Isn't it clear that no federal government will implement the 2009 agreement in total? So if you are looking for a solution, the solution is who pays for tertiary education? That's the key question. Okay. And what should the quantum be? How do you put the burden? In all of this, I pity state universities. They are also on strike now, like their federal counterpart. When anything comes, nothing will really go to them. The state governments have made up their mind. They won't do anything. Yet they are wasting the time of their students and the lives of their students, now joining their federal counterparts to do what is more to me solidarity strike rather than something that can really help them. Many of them now have to generate the funds to pay their salaries. Let's be realistic. These incessant strikes, they don't mean much. They are irritating.
Okay.
Irritating.
All right.
One strike for 3 months.
Okay, Prof. We'll return to you in just a moment. Some of the issues
I'm here.
Some time to respond to it.
No, well,
not the time to.
No.
Never give me enough so that long 1 hour.
Professor Sodeke, we spent over 1 hour discussing with students, and he was not there. So you can appreciate that.
I know the side he belongs. So let us also respond to it.
Right.
It's very clear.
You have been responding, but
we are not responding to what he's saying.
More importantly, there are two things that have been thrown up here. The question of the length of the strike. It's been going on, and it's on and on, and this is still on. When will it end? Earlier on, I put the question, I said, would it not be possible to go back to work while negotiations continued? You said no. So somebody asked last week, said, could the strike go on forever?
Let me explain. We have never used the word warning. Like he's not a member, maybe I led the university community. If he's there, he will know that we are not on warning strike. We have never used the word warning strike.
The first...
we have never used the word warning strike. We call it rollover strike.
No, the first one.
From the beginning. No, check. We wrote you. Check the letter.
Well,
it is very clear. Let me finish, sir. We are not on warning strike. We never use the word warning strike.
Rollover. Which one is rollover?
We said 4 weeks.
There is nothing like rollover.
Let me finish, sir.
No, you are finishing. There's nothing like rollover.
No, I don't think you. If you heckle me, I will heckle you when you are speaking also. So what I'm saying is that we are not on warning strike.
Okay, warning. It's
a different thing.
Well,
yes,
warning
so
strike, full strike. The matter is that this strike is in its 10th week now.
This strike, just like Jonathan did, can be resolved in 1 day. The strike can be resolved in 1 day. So you don't allow the issue to prolong it. Can be resolved in 1 day if there is the will to do that. 2, let me get it very clear. The agreement we negotiated, even the 2.5 agreement, we didn't say you must implement it the way it is. Do you understand that if you have issue as a government, you have issue with the agreement, you call us for a meeting and we'll look at those issues. But they will never call us. We mean they don't have issues. That's why it's there written. 2, on this issue, you see, somebody is saying that when you have people from different countries teaching in your university, it's immaterial. That place is not an academic. University is universal. When you look at the world ranking of university, one of the critical factors in that ranking, that's what we're not ranked, is that how many countries are lecturers in your university are from. That's one of the major criteria for ranking a university. And the lecturer professor will say he didn't know. NUC in Nigeria, to rank our local university, the diversity of lecturers from where they are from is the most important parameter. The diversity of students. The professor said he didn't know. It didn't matter. No, sir, don't speak for him. You didn't speak for me.
I believe that Prof will respond to that issue.
Let me speak. So that you don't look at, we allow him all the time. Nobody said a word. So what I'm saying is that for a lecturer to say that something is wrong with the system, is that the quality of, you see, somebody classified lecturer in Nigeria into 4.
No.
So let me
think at this point, go ahead. Go ahead.
He has created a lot of problems. Listen, he had tried. The man who had tried to poison the public educators, who might allow to respond.
No. He raised some issues.
Yeah, those are the issues I'm going to talk about.
Yes.
That's the issue I'm going to talk about. The first one I read was that it's immaterial. 2, he talked about school fees. That people should be allowed to pay any fee they want to pay. He said it.
That's not what he said.
Okay. All right, we'll still ask him to respond because.
So what I'm saying is that he says so that people that will share the cost, he mentioned it. Okay. Except thank God the public is watching. That what I'm saying is the students and their parents are already paying. 2, quantum of money. I will talk about budgetary allocation. 3, we also talk about whether a lecturer can tell a employee can tell an employer how to pay. If that is removed, then there's no more labor, there's no more unionism. There's none.
How to pay you?
A system is paying me salary. Let me tell you, before a system is paying, you bought a system from outside that from every education is fraudulent, and you are paying me. And that system, let me give you an example. That system is sure paying me. Then I will see that I clap for the system. I will see that I clap for that system. Two, when we negotiate with government, Babangida, and when we finish, say, how do we fund this agreement? 1992. How do we fund this agreement? That's the original TED fund. ASU went back, cracked his brain, and came up with the proposal. And everybody is enjoying it today. If we say government cannot ask you, but a government that was looking forward, say ASU, we've agreed on this, how do we fund it? And ASU sat down and came up with that particular decision. And today everybody is all over the place today. People are struggling to be there. Two, this present agreement we are talking about, the minister said it's just the issue of welfare salary. It's not true. Salary is just a small fraction of that agreement. And I don't think, the problem I have with that agreement is that the government side has not bothered to read it. So the idea is just the salary. Salary is just about 3 pages that agreement. And that agreement is about 20 pages. That agreement also came with very, very procedure, suggestion on how to raise money to fund the university. Okay, very lengthy, but the government has not bothered to read it.
No, government have read it.
At this point, we have a number of callers have been on the line now, and it's interactive. So we'll take a few calls and then return to the studio. We have Akimbayo calling in from Ibadan. Hello, go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, go right ahead.
Good evening. Am I on to the studio? Hello?
Right. Akibayo, if you're there, go ahead. I think we'll have to turn off the speaker here in the studio so we can hear you. Right, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. We can hear you. But again, for the controls here, we need to hear him from the studio here. Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead with your question or comment. Akimbayo, we can hear you. Go on. All right. Okay, so maybe you'll have to call back. It's obvious you're having an issue there with linking up with us. But, well, let's keep the calls coming. Yes, Minister.
I want to actually look at the points raised by that Professor Rotimi.
Yes, Professor.
And himself. That's the president of ASU. Professor Rotimi took away a lot of the things I would have said here, but I did touch them. I talked about resources. That's where I started. And I talked about the economy. And I talked about competing demands on the national resources by education, health, water and sanitation, defense, internal security, and the rest of them all. These are things that need money. And we are saying, oh, this government has not done well in security. Oh, they have not done well in health. All our health centers and whatever are not first class. So this is it. They are competing needs. And like I said before too, in computing what you call percentage given to your sector, get everything in the subsectors into that sector. I said so. As SUBEB is there, Universal Basic Education Fund, TED Fund is there. It's not what is in TED Fund is not being used in the Ministry of Health. It's Ministry of Education. And all the tertiary institutions there. He also touched about what the foreign teachers. Right. The foreign teachers taught me. And like I said, we're doing local content. If there are Nigerians who are teaching biochemistry, why do you get Ugandans? Why? Because you want variety?
Why? Why is the world having variety and you don't have?
No.
Go to any university in the US, use Nigeria teaching there. There must be a university universal. It's not a private. It's not a localized thing.
Wait now,
University is not localized.
No, if you want to heckle like this, I'll leave. I'm bring my director to come and talk with you.
I will bring my deputy to come and talk to
my special
I will bring my deputy to come and talk with the director.
As a president, this is not.
You were heckling me when I was speaking.
No.
Okay, at this point,
you better maintain some sanity.
Okay, Minister, we'll take a call and then we'll return to you in just a moment.
There are certain things he has said. Jonathan locking himself in a room with them for 14 hours. Buhari will not lock himself in a room with you. He will not. I'm the labor minister. It's my job to carry it.
What if you cannot do it?
If I cannot finish it, the law says I transmit this case to National Industrial Court. That's what the law says. I'm the competent authority on labor matters for Nigeria.
Yes.
Not my president. He can lock himself. SGF will not. AGF is Secretary of Council. He's not Minister of Labor. I am the minister.
The president.
Appointed by Section 147 of the Constitution of Nigeria. So stop talking about that because you won't get it.
We will talk about it.
No, don't talk about whatever you did with Jonathan government and you forced them and they signed and they didn't implement it.
They did.
And you are now trying to hoist it again, go the same pathway that didn't pay you.
They did.
And our children are now at home because of this. These children are there. My 3 children lost 2 years in the Nigerian university system. They did. And I'm happy that Professor Rotimi talked about their 2020 strike, which to me didn't make sense. The whole world was locked down under COVID, and you declare strike. We asked you, come for discussion. You said no, there's a lockdown, you won't come. But you're on strike. We asked you, teach your students virtually, like they are doing in the private universities. You said no, you're on strike. In COVID period, when there was only virtual teaching, no contact and everything. If the leadership is really genuine to the people they lead, they would have known that the best thing to do was to open up negotiation then, even if it's virtual meeting. They refused all. So what I'm saying...
You have a document to show that you invited them, we didn't come.
What I'm saying is they have to climb down from their high horse. The era of, we spent 10 months on strike. My strike was the longest. I was actually president that did the longest strike in Nigeria. No accolade for it. I have told them that in the conciliation room. Strike in itself is failure of leadership. That's what they don't know. It's failure of leadership. Both for you as head leader of the union and both for your direct employers. It's failure.
But not the conciliator.
The strike is mentioning in Ghana and elsewhere. He said the last 1 month, 1 week or 3 days, there is what is called strike funds. The union pay their members during strike period. They take money from check-off dues and pay. It's only in Nigeria they don't do it. When you invoke no work, no pay, principle of no work, no pay, they say, oh, Ngige has finished them. It's Ngige that did it. It is a law of the country. You don't need me to invoke it. You don't need me for education or Minister of Finance or Nigeria to invoke it and do it. If you don't work, how do you collect remuneration? So overseas and even in Ghana, 2 months ago, Ghanaian teachers went on strike. He knows. GATS, that's what they are called. Ghana Association of University Teachers or something like that. This strike didn't last long because they have to pay their striking member from their fund. And once you're doing it, it will presuppose that you will do everything possible for the strike to go. I don't blame them. They did a strike in 2020. Some of them were home for 9 months and 8 months and the rest of them. I wrote a letter, sought special clearance and approval from presidents on humanitarian grounds because that was a COVID year, and we paid them. That 9 months they were home. They got money. They got 9 months pay. So everybody in government is now blaming me that I have emboldened them. And that's why they will, on 14th of February, while discussing with us, declare a warning strike without even notifying me. It was when I came back that they wrote me, because I asked them on phone, did you notify me you are going on strike? They kept quiet. I said, I didn't get your letter. When I come back, they went and slipped in a letter and then called it a strike. Then when we were discussing on table, by which time they would have gone back to their work, they went back and said to their members, because they don't know I have members who are friends, they call me to tell me the outcome of their meetings and what I've been told them. Then they told them that, oh, government has decided not to speak to them. They said they won't do anything. How can you do a proposal with your Ministry of Education and the proposal is supposed to be sent? You take your own to your people. The people in education take their own back to their people for them to look at it and spot areas of misalignment that can be aligned. And they spotted them, invited you back. Today they say they are not going to go to that meeting.
It's not correct.
Benoni, Mini Briggs Committee.
Yes.
Have you gone to that committee?
We've met. We met 2 times.
You said you won't come to education because you're supposed to meet them in education. They came to see you people.
Where?
I'm just telling you.
You see,
and Nasu,
we have to pull.
Nasu,
you see, the problem we're having in Nigeria, is that the leadership do not tell people the truth. Please, it's very essential. You can see that everywhere is lies. Hearing Tefatu, we met with the Nimi Bridge Committee in NUC where we have been meeting. And we even have minutes of that meeting. I have the minutes of the meeting.
Yes,
and the meeting said we refuse to meet. This lie and misinformation is not creating problem in the system.
The phone lines are back
we as a union,
yes.
whether it's salary or not, for all it's consequential.
We'll take this call and
we will survive. We will survive. Right. And note that
we shall come back to you for this.
I found out that when I'm speaking, you intervene. But he's speaking, you allow them.
No, we have to take a call now. Lawrence calling in from Benue. Immediately after Lawrence, you will discuss this matter. Lawrence, go ahead if you can hear me. Lawrence? Yeah, hello, Lawrence.
Minister of Labor and Employment.
Yeah. Please.
And I want to greet the chairman of ASU, who is there to speak for Nigerians. I have a point. My point is the focal point of all this is to get the university system going. The youths that are involved in this education are watching to see how the labor minister and then the ASU would look for a meeting point, a meeting ground.
Education minister. Stop calling labor minister. They should go back to education.
They don't solve any problem.
The committee in question is the education committee.
Forward progress in the education sector. So all we are saying is that going on with arguments about this whole strike does not solve any problem. So can the federal government begin to create a platform where ASU will begin to no longer talk about UTAS, and then we no longer have these issues of LPPIS, and then we have university systems running. This is all we are clamoring for. We are tired of watching every year in, year out, ASU strike. Then the federal government is giving one reason or the other, one excuse or the other. We are saying whatsoever is the center, let us have a way of resolving our divergent views. Let us have a way of putting the country first, like Professor Kemi Rotimi said. Let us look for a way to solve this problem. It doesn't create a good impression of this country when we come online television and we argue about these things. We the youth are tired of these strikes, incident strikes, year in, year out. In fact, to be honest with you, I can easily predict that after this strike, there will be another strike before the end of 2022. So it doesn't pay anybody. So we are only saying, please let the strike be called off. Let our youth, let our students go back to school. Let academic activities continue. And then let the Labour Minister, Honourable Minister, I want to appreciate you for honouring the NTA invitation tonight to come and speak to Nigerians concerning why this strike have continued till now. 2029 agreement was not actually your agreement. It's Goodluck Jonathan and Yar'Adua's agreement. But whatever you can do to solve this, please, we beg you, do it. Let's not begin to look for who is the employee and who is the employer. What platform is presented and what platform is 99.3%. Let us just look for it to like, okay, if this is workable, let us adopt it and then move on. Please, that's my contribution for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right, Professor Sodeke.
Thank you. What we are saying, that any day we believe in Nigeria, we believe in the university system, Nigerian leaders. If you watch a few weeks ago, Central Bank released a report. The Nigerians spend 1.6 trillion naira a year to pay school fees all over the world. If our university are functioning well, the way ASU is pleading for the government to fund, if the system is working, we will not be paying that huge amount of money to foreign countries. And nobody is paying a couple to Nigeria because our system is not working. We don't have a typical class, a laboratory class. You have 1,000 students and you have 10 microscopes. The implication that we don't know, maybe we are so happy, we are holding our salary, we are doing it, we are so happy. Let me tell you the implication. The doctors went on strike a few months ago. First, no work, no pay, the threat. 2, doctoral court. After the strike, every Nigerian saw the good doctor Nigerian leaving the country. They were driven away by all this so-called policy. Instead of negotiating around the problem, you are looking for how to punish them. So they left.
Stop talking about what you don't know.
So they left. We saw it going to Saudi Arabia, what have you. You saw them going to the rushing to go and take interview. I don't have to be a doctor. I'm a Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian.
Don't talk about
every Nigerian saw it. So what I'm saying is that, look, this is the time for us to look inwards and change the trajectory of our education system, our health system. And we can only do that if we create the environment that whenever our Nigerians who have left in anger to come home, and also allow people to, the way we are going outside, go to Britain. From a territory at home, we have more than 5,000 lecturers in Britain. How more than 10,000 lecturers in Britain? People train here because of the environment we have. Finally, on this particular issue, in the 70s, 80s, when our laboratory, our system were working, you don't hear a building collapsing in Nigeria. Not one. But today, a person passed out, a structural engineer to Nigerian University, didn't have access to laboratory. And he had godfather. He became a head of a system.
Would that not also be a reflection on the system where for most part of the year there's no academic activity going on?
No.
It doesn't
Look, no. Let this our student, the one we teach, including his own children, let them go outside. Where they can have access to laboratory, they will excel because they already have the theories.
All right. At this point in time, yes. Okay, of course. Okay. I must return to Professor Kemi Rotimi because he has the right of response to a matter you raised here. Professor Rotimi, are you still with us?
Very much so.
Yes. Okay. Right. Right, he's right there. Now, in our discussion here, in response to your comments, the ASU president has said that the question of foreign lecturers being in Nigerian institutions is a necessary given and that it is what it should be. I would like you to respond to that.
What am I going to respond to Sodeke for? I'm a historian. I don't know his discipline, whatever, but whatever it is, he's not a historian. I was talking just now about building collapse.
We didn't hear you.
Does he know about the building that collapsed in Ife in 1975-76?
Yes. Can we get the
That
sound in
ended
the
the
studio,
glorious
please?
reign.
Right.
That ended the glorious reign of late Oluwaseun. As if building collapse is a phenomenon of yesterday. Look, the guy is talking about whether I'm already out of the university system. No, I'm just about to leave for information. I'll leave next year at 66 so you can go on with your strike forever. I am saying, and I repeat, the strikes have got too many and reckless. Let nobody, no equivocation about that. How do you go? You say you are not doing one strike, rollover strike. It's terminological inexactitude. That's what we call it in English. Terminological inexactitude. What is rollover strike? You couldn't even define it. Truth be told, you are not at work. And then you have not yet started the full-blown strike. If I use a Yoruba expression for you to hurt you, I mean, 3 months preparing for madness. For how long are you going to be mad? I raised the 2020 issue. Do you have an answer to that? The whole world was locked down. You said ASU was on strike. Nigerians started blaming us for being on a 1 year strike. Is that the truth? Look, I repeat, with the best will in the world, no Nigerian government, either now or in the future, will implement the 2009 agreement the way you want it. And I'm on terra firma to tell you, and then you are cherry picking. Now comparing a past government, this past government, Jonathan did this and that. When Jonathan was there, it was the same cycle. Jonathan was horrible then. When Buhari goes, it means that you will revise your stand now. And the new government will be the new bad man. Look, Nigerians are wiser than many of us. And then we think that when we carry this label, professor is a rank you attain because of some papers you said you have written or your peers assess you. That doesn't mean that you are the monopoly of knowledge. I repeat, the monopoly of public universities on the production of manpower for the economy had long been diluted the moment private universities were given licenses. And if we factor that into whatever we do, we'll be more sober when we go on these reckless strikes. Strike for what? For how many years? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And we public university teachers, a good number of their universities have postal addresses. They wake up in the morning and run like yo-yo, running around about 3 or 4 private universities to be adjunct teachers, and then come back to their university tired in the evening. What are we talking about? If we must come to equity, we must come with very clean hands. You don't just come and then be using labor language. I repeat, since your Jamaicans, your Ethiopians, your Liberians stop coming to Nigeria, have we not been producing quality graduates?
You have not.
You make it look like the moment those ones are not there, they were not doing good job. Who told you that? If that is happening in your university, it's not happening in Ife. And then you are querying my bona fides. I'm a professor of history, reputed to be historian of the police and policing in Nigeria. By the grace of God, I've earned my pips. So I know who I am and I know what I am. I've been teaching in Ife since 1982. Do your arithmetic. So don't ever come near wanting to be personal. I don't let anybody get away with it. Yeah, if you have ever had for last some rough fight, I like it, but I don't start one.
No.
So if you provoke it, I'll join you there.
Well, Prof,
Let's discuss the issues.
Prof, there will be no need for any rough for this program tonight, but
If you
we're
start it,
fast
I
running
won't
out
run
of
away.
time. But we're fast running out of time. So there's one critical issue which I need the minister to comment on.
Yeah.
All this is going on. We're all looking for a way to resolve it so that the universities can reopen and the system can be better.
Yeah.
But again, it's looking as it's not going to happen soon. What I'm saying is, if you fail to get this resolved, what's the next step?
Cyril, I don't know whether you listen to me very carefully. I said that of all whatever they are talking about, that are their grouses that are outstanding, by the time I brought into the negotiating table, a lot of them have been sorted out. We exchange papers. People from finance, people from budget office, exchange papers with them. And they saw what had been done. The areas that have not been fully done, we give timeline, go and do this and reconcile the accounts. So, issue like end academic allowance is not one of the problems now. Because we now have to do a new template for 2022. 2021 has been paid 22.127 or so for 2022. Spillover of the allowance from 2020 agreement, 40 billion was paid to the university system. So on end academic allowances alone, or end allowances alone for the university system, 62.72 billion have been paid them last year, by the end of last year, with a 30 billion for revitalization, 92.7 billion. And like Professor Rotimi was saying, 2009 agreement with Jonathan on revitalization, where he promised you people, or where you banded them into an agreement of 1.3 trillion. We told them it's not doable by this government, based on our earning. And even the 1.3 trillion promised you by Jonathan, and with a 200 billion or 220 billion release, the 220 billion is from that fund. It's not from outside the education system. So we agreed to pay what we can do. That's what education and finance in particular, because they are the people who know about what we have and what we don't have. So that area is not contentious. The contentious areas are two.
Right.
That 2009 agreement renegotiation, like you're saying, there are so many other things that are there about sabbatical and this and that and that. Those are not their issue. Their issue is that they want increase in their salaries.
That's what we said. That was in the agreement.
That's what they want, but they don't know how to say it. But they should not shy away from saying it. Your salary is low as a professor. I've told you that.
All right.
So don't shy away from saying it.
Okay.
So that committee now that is in education, Minister of Education gave them 3 months. I say, no, Minister, it should be 6 weeks. They told me they have turned in a report 2 days yesterday. So I'm going to call up Education Minister by Monday or tomorrow and say, the professor have reported to me that there's something. Does it help us? Can you bring it up so that I can call this people to a meeting? But make no mistake about it. I have seen their wage, their monument. Personally, I'm not happy about it. I have relatives who are senior lecturers, lecturer 1, 2, something has to be done there. Something must give. Something must be done there. But not the way they're going about it. Because they're going about it and saying, don't follow your process of increase of salaries and wages and allowances. Bring President Buhari into a room like Jonathan. That's what they're abandoning. He said it even again here today.
That's your own idea.
We will not, Buhari will not see anybody.
All right.
Secretary to government, he should mind his beat, I mind my beat. This is my beat.
You see,
I push education.
Thank you very much. You see,
I'm coming. Just listen. So that committee can do all this work you want. If they have submitted their report, and I hope you know that it's an internal committee of which you are supposed to be a member. Oh yes, a negotiating committee in education.
Well,
it is a negotiation committee.
Unfortunately,
Second one is this
run out
fruit
of time
of NIDNA, UTAS, and the rest of them all.
Minister, we'll have to leave it there because we've run out of time. But just one thing here, ASU President, would ASU be willing to take this negotiation further and end the strike?
Thank you very much. Let me put it also straight.
You just have 1 minute to do that.
That the negotiation we ended in May 2021, almost a year ago. Go back, look at your principle to see whether they agree or not, then come back.
Proposals.
I have taken a year. That's why I will go on strike. Okay. 2 is that the system we are protecting the system. If you go around the whole university in this country today, any new project you see is state fund. And somebody say we should not go on, we should not struggle, we should leave it. You see, there are people in the universities. You can spend 100 years in the university and you know nothing about the universities.
Would you consider another way to pressing home the demands while academic activities resume?
Like heckling, the one you have heckled me here, you can go and heckle in education.
Sir,
or picket.
You see, let me give you, we don't just go on strike.
Okay.
Give me just 30 seconds. We don't go on strike. When the process started, we have met with Buhari. He's aware. When he said we cannot meet with Buhari, we have met with him. We met with him. Met with the speaker. No, he said you cannot meet with Buhari, but we have met with him. He was there. We met with the speaker, met with everybody.
He told you to come back to me. He told you to
come back to me. You abandon it.
He told you to come back to me. Education
and
finance.
Head of service. And chief of staff.
Yes.
You abandoned it. You didn't do your work.
No, we didn't abandon
it. You abandoned it. That's where we are.
No. Well, Minister, I would like to thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
They come plain and say that they want a salary review.
Okay.
Let them talk
an agreement.
They're paying us fish. Your body is outside.
For Professor Rotimi, who joined us via Zoom, Prof, it's always a delight to speak with you. We thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you so much, Professor Kemi Rotimi. And ASU President, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, we thank you for being on this program. Minister, it's a delight having you.
A pleasure all the time. A pleasure. These are my Aluta people. Don't worry.
All right. So
don't worry. We are
and thank you too for being part of this program. Next week we'll be back with NTA Tuesday Live. I'm Cyril Stover. Continue to stay safe.
This is the network service of the NTA.